Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony, and as you know, I'm building another 1:6 scale full metal tank from Armortek, and it is the Hetzer or the Jagdpanzer 38. In the last video we put the tracks on. I managed to get some power to the tracks, but now today a little bit anxious about this, but it's time to do a bit of a road test on my little Hetzer. So I've moved my M26 off its table jack, and now I'm going to basically take my little Hetzer off the table for the first time, get it onto the ground and do some sort of maneuvering with it, just to sort of test to make sure the sprocket and everything else is functioning as it should, and potentially have to remove a link or whatever if I'm not sure or if I'm not happy about the tension on the track. So I'm super nervous about this. I really hope it goes well. I don't want to crash this because I'm not on single stick drive at the moment, because it's got a lot more work or synchronizing to do between the radio gear and all the other components of the tank. But this is just a simple test for today. So I'll reset the camera up, and you'll see me and the process of getting the Hetzer off the bench onto my table jack onto the ground, and then we'll do some maneuvering. So I'll just do that and I'll be straight back. So the first thing I'm going to do is just lower the little motorcycle jack. I'm doing this by hand because I've got more control over it. I could put it into my cordless drill, I guess, but I like the fact that I've got real control over how I drop this onto the bench. So I'm just going to lower this down. This is the first time I'm doing this, guys. There was no dry run, so if it all goes horribly wrong, you're going to witness it. Now, because the Hetzer is a little bit, the hole underneath is a little bit higher than the jack, I just need to encourage the Hetzer off the jack, and there we go. Just using the bench to slide that off. That's off. So that's that. We'll move all of this out of the way. I'm going to hook up my radio set because it's a little bit awkward to do this because it's not on single stick drive at the moment. I'm just going to make sure I'm all aligned. So I'm just going to take my table jack, line that up, elevate it so I've got it on the same level as the workbench. Just keep yourself occupied while I'm doing this. Sorry guys, just thought this would be interesting to show you the process, or my process anyway, of getting the tank off the workbench and onto the table jack. And that's about right. Brakes on. You don't want this flying around while you're loading the tank, so that's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to turn on everything. Turn the tank on. I can see the receivers receiving it loud and clear, and that is facing reverse. So now I just need to very gently want to try and manhandle that into position a little bit more. Obviously the landing bay is a bit wider because of the M26, needs a bit more space. Okay, she's on. Okay, she's on. So we'll just manipulate that round. I'm going to turn off the tank in case I inadvertently press the controls and then it just flies off. So now brakes off. Turn this around. I'm going to drop this down as low as I can. So she's going to drop down. bring that up. It's pretty much where the ramp is. Brakes on. Brakes on. I'm all right. Brakes on. And then I'll just put the ramp up and then we'll take it from there. Right. Super nervous. Do not want to crash this, so power on the tank. Just trying to get these tracks to move. Right, we're off. Right, that's it, off. Now, time to try and going to take it onto my patio so we can do some manoeuvring. Right, here we go. First road test. So really what I want to try and do here is just trying to get the tank to drive. So just so I can sort of understand how the track's working. I can see that I think it's going to need a link out. I think it's going to need a link out of there. And also I can see that the track is binding a little bit with the sprocket. Just drive that around so I can see. Now I can see the track's slightly binding with the sprocket. Now I don't know whether that's a common problem and that's why Armortek swapped out the sprocket rings from aluminium to steel, potentially, because that would be good. That would be a good thing, because at least then the steel will wear the holes in the aluminium over time, so this issue wouldn't be a problem as such. So let's just do a few more little. Yeah, it definitely needs a link out. Just feels like it's slapping a bit. It's great to see it driving after hours and hours and hours of work on the bench. It's coming up to pay homage to the M26. I'll give that a bit of a spin in a minute. I'm not belting this. I just want to. I can just want to keep an eye on the track performance. And already, where the track's been painted and it's the parts that are getting in contact with the hard surface of my patio, it's starting to wear off. So it's already getting that lovely patina. This is tricky with two sticks, but I'm getting the hang of it. I can hear that sprocket binding. Let's just spin that round so I can see. Yeah, I can see that it's definitely binding. Not sure how I'll get around that, other than I'm hoping if I put a bit more tension on these tracks by taking a link out, that'll resolve that. Let's get it up against the M26 so we can see the size of it and compared to the M26. It looks so small. It looks so small in comparison, but deadly nonetheless. Right, so let's just do a bit more driving. Just relatively pleased actually how that's gone. The road wheels seem to be operating as I intended, or what I imagined them to do. It's just, I think it's only a matter of time before that the aluminium links on the track sort of wear enough to travel around that sprocket. It's already improving. The more I engage it, the more it's already starting to improve. So I think definitely a link out of either side will improve it and help. What a great little thing this is. Right, as a road test is concerned, I'm quite pleased how it's gone actually. Haven't crashed it, didn't crash it coming off the ramp. Famous last words, probably crash it putting it back on the ramp. But it definitely needs to go back up on my bench so we can take a link out. Pretty sure once that link's out it'll work a lot better. And as I said, I think once the tracks are bedded into the sprocket, I think it'll all be fine. It's quite incredible to think when you build these things, when you start seeing them come to life, how good they are. It is a real sense of satisfaction. So that's it for my initial road test. We'll just turn the power off that. We don't want it going off and doing its own thing. Turn the power off to the radio set, and I'm going to then get my M26 and we'll do some work with the M26. Right, let's get my M26 fired up. Oh, lovely little puff of smoke out of the back. Just love the sound of this. Just looks so good. What an amazing looking tank. What a lovely job Armortek have done on this kit. I absolutely love driving this. I love driving the Tiger as well, but this a little bit special. My gunnery sergeant up on the top of the turret, manning his 50 cal machine gun. And when you put it up against the Hetzer, you can see the difference in the size. Right, I think it's time to put my M26 away. Beautiful. Right, so just thought I'd give my Pershing a bit of a run out. Miss how, you know, when the weather gets better, I'll definitely do some more videos. I'll get the Tiger out, and once the Hetzer's built, we'll have a little bit of a sort of a tank off, shall we say, between all three. But yeah, it's back to the workbench for the Hetzer. Take out a couple of links and then we can crack on with the build. Right, so that's everything safely tucked away. M26 is back on its table jack, and the Hetzer's back on the table, the workbench, and back on its scissor jack. I've already removed the link from the other side ahead of this, and I just wanted to show you, this is what I meant about when the tracks hit the surface of the, or any hard surface, it wears the paint off here, so you get this lovely patina, and you just get the paint that doesn't come into contact with a hard surface remains inside the track link, so it does really start looking more realistic. So that's the link from the other side, and it's already feeling better the other side. So what we're going to do now is just remove this link from here. So the best way I think to do this is that you unbend the clips or the split pin that you previously bent round just as much as you can, so you can grab hold of it. Then you get your cutters and go as tight as possible to the hole, so you get the loop of the split pin, and just cut. And that should leave you just enough to grab hold of the tail of that split pin and pull it out like that with your long nose pliers. Just there we go. It will come out. Once it's out, you can just release both of those pins. Just going to push those through, and it's going to fall onto the desk, onto the worktop, like so. And then the final one, which is the one we're going to remove, which is that one. So that's it, done. Now I have already slackened off the idler wheel on this end, so it should give me enough to pull this as tight as possible and get, so just so I can get a connection. Might need a little bit more actually, just making sure that's, yeah, it needs to be released a little bit more, so I'll just go and do that. I should do it. Just want enough slack just to be able to get that, pull that as tight as possible in together. Now this is a bit tough, but completely doable. So as before, I'm going to get a pin ready for this. So when we pull this together, like that, that holds the track in place, and we'll get our pin to go in from behind. And it's all a bit, because it's a bit tighter, this needs a bit more encouragement. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll just get a clamp on that. From that, hopefully coming from behind now. There, I think. Just a bit more encouragement. Right, so got that pin in there now, a little bit more that I wanted. That's brilliant. Now we can get this, just gently tapping that, and there we go. That's that pin out and presented where we want it. I just need to spin that round so I can get the new split pin in. So that's that. So I just need to get a split pin. I'll go and find that, and we'll pop that in, and then we're done. Right, got the split pin, pop that in, and as before, just using this really sharp pointed tool, try and get in and just start the bending process. This is awkward, and it's probably one of the most awkward things on one of these tanks, just getting in and doing these split pins, but I'm actually relieved that all I've got to do is just this one single one, and we're done. Just bend that up a little bit. As before, just trim these so it allows me to bend them round. Awkward. I mean, it's just awkward because it's on the tank, but there we go, we're almost there. It's like the home straight, yeah? Almost there. That's it, done. Right, so now what I'll do is I'll tension up the track a little bit more at the back, and then we'll just put the power on and we'll do another little test on the tracks to see how they're performing this time. Right, so powered up the tank. I'm just going to see how this works. This is so much better. It's not binding anymore. That noise you can hear is just this wheel going up and down on its spring. That's definitely better. Really pleased with that. Yeah, definitely functioning a lot better. Put it on a slow run just to occasionally a little bit of a bind, but I think once that's all bedded in, I think that'll be fine. Just again, you can just see these wheels. That's what's making the noise. These wheels operating on the spring, on the leaf springs. Just trying the other side. I know you can't see the other side, but I can hear it's running so much better. So I'm really pleased with that. I know, again, it's been a lengthy thing just talking about tracks and drive motors and testing it and everything else, but it's such an important thing to do at this stage, to make sure that everything's driving, everything's operating as it should, because especially on this particular model, it's going to be really hard to get to everything once this is on and mock welded and painted and everything else. So I've had to go an extra mile or two to make sure I'm happy with everything. So I'm really happy the way it's working now. I'm happy with the tension on the track, and I think once it's done, when it's back on the ground, I think it's going to be fine. Now I'm fairly confident that I can crack on and install the skirtings and all the final details on here ahead of the mock welding. So effectively that'll be the next step. So I'm going to pack all this away and I'll be back to camera very soon. So that's it for today. I'm sorry, it feels like it's been a bit of a marathon with these with this particular part of the build, but it's really important that if you are going to build one of these Hetzers, just make sure you go through the same process as I have, because you know, once everything's on the tank and you've built it and you've installed the tracks, etc., and if all of this glass display is fixed into position finally, and you haven't done the test that I've just done, you may find that you've got some issues. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to take any risk until I'm really happy, and I am now, with the way the the operational aspect of the tank is. It's turning, it's driving really well. I have actually done another road test on this away from camera, and it's perfect. So all that slapping and issues that I had with the sprocket not binding, because I've taken the link out and I've got the track reasonably tensioned, it's working perfectly. So obviously the next time it's operational, hopefully we'll have all the mechanisms working, the gun and everything else, and when we do and when it's all painted, I'll do another drive on it and you'll see for yourself that it's working brilliantly. So now it leaves me to, allows me to get on with the build. I know it seems like it's an eternity since I did some work on the tank as far as developing and continuing the build, but next time you see me, it will be about putting on the mud guards or the skirtings, etc., and the final details, ready for the tools and everything which attach to the tank. And then of course we'll then start doing some mock welding, and then eventually we'll get on to fitting the gun, testing all the servos and the slew mechanism and everything else, getting it painted and almost done and ready for its first real outing. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have just joined me and found my channel, please subscribe, because We're not done yet with the Hetzer. There's still more to do, and I've got lots more in the pipeline. I just want to say thank you for all of your support. Thanks for your continued comments. It means a great deal to me. I really hope you enjoy what I do here. For now, I'll just sign off by saying I'm Tony. Love building these tanks. Really enjoy doing these videos for you and love the interaction with you guys. And I can't wait to the next session. See you soon.